Hello and welcome to Ascension Arcana Tarot. This is Christine with a weekly romance reading. I am pulling this on October 30th on the eve before Halloween. As always, this is a general collective reading, so please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. I'm using one of my new tarot decks. It's called the Good Tarot. It's like so beautiful. And it feels really like dreamy and divine to me. So I thought it feels like a good energy to call in this evening. All right. God, what messages do you have here for this collective for their romance journey this week? We are starting with the Fool. Sweet. This deck is like brand new to me. I think I've seen like, I don't know, maybe 10 cards in here or something. So this is going to be cool. I love this card. I'm drawn to the trumpet. So the Fool, the Fool in the tarot is an energy of new beginnings, of innocence, of taking a leap of faith. In the traditional tarot, it's the Fool kind of, just like walking in like this jolly free way sort of towards the edge of a cliff. And I always imagine like the hand of God kind of catching him. It's like a huge leap of faith into the unknown. But I love on this, the symbolism of the Fool with the trumpet in her mouth. I feel like by kind of calling with this trumpet, she's actually kind of calling in her own new beginning. That's like a really cool message. So if you're in this collective, that might resonate for you, where maybe you're doing some spiritual work, some healing, some growing, where you're kind of actively calling in like a new beginning that's requiring a lot of faith. The Queen of Earth is so beautiful in this deck. That's a really cool card. I love the butterfly on her shoulder as a symbol of transformation. And I'm drawn to like the antlers here, like that sort of deer symbolism. But next to the Fool card, it's interesting because the Fool is not a particularly grounded energy. It's like, I don't know, just sort of merrily like off in its own dream world, right? The character of the Fool. But I feel like the Queen of Earth, especially in this deck here, she's very grounded. She's very peaceful. I love how she kind of has this like soft divine glow about her. So it feels like traipsing off into that new beginning that you're calling in, but also doing it in like a really grounded way. These cards together are almost giving me like an Ace of Pentacles energy, where it's like that new beginning, but it's really grounded on the earth, and to your physical abundance, like your physical manifestations of family, home, abundance, like all those awesome things. I'm feeling called to say, I just heard my spiritual coach's voice in my head. So in a lot of traditional spiritual work, right? If you're a very holy person, you're kind of removed from day-to-day life. I'm thinking of but for me growing up, I was Roman Catholic, right? I was raised Roman Catholic. So it would be like a priest or a nun where you kind of live and serve the church, but you're not really a person who's immersed in just like regular everyday life, right? But this feels like a person who is very spiritual, but also very connected to living like in the world, right? Connecting to people, creating that abundance. Oh my goodness. Okay, I literally just channeled this card. Sorry, that was very distracting. It took me right off what I was saying. I'm just trying to make the point that this feels like a very spiritual person, but who's also very immersed in a kind of bringing that spirituality into their everyday life. I literally was just saying that these two cards together felt like the Ace of Pentacles to me, and that's what this card is the Ace of Earth. In this deck, she represents them by the elements rather than like pentacles or, swords are called air, that kind of thing. That's really, and I was even mentioning like the deer, how I was drawn to that, and the butterflies. Oh, this guy has little leaves, but it kind of looks like butterflies. Anyways, that's like really funny that I just channeled that. So yes, literally what I just said about these cards here. It's that sort of that new beginning, the freedom of that and the lightness of that, and kind of the it feels like happy, peaceful, grounded anticipation of stepping off into a new direction and just sort of being like being open to allowing the path to unfold and kind of having like a happy anticipation of good things coming. I'm drawn again to like the light here kind of radiating down onto the stag figure. It's really beautiful. I don't know if this symbol will be meaningful, and I don't know this deck well enough to know if it's in all of the earth cards, but I forget what this is called. I know it's like a Celtic symbol. But I noticed it here on her and I didn't mention it, but I feel like I should mention it because it's here on that Ace of Earth also. That's funny. That's one of the most fun tarot things I've channeled. I enjoyed that. Messenger of Fire and the Magician. That's sweet. Ooh, you guys, I like this energy. So, fire is the wands, and the messengers in this deck are the pages. So again, like these cards are just repeating the same beautiful message. The Page of Wands is basically the minor arcana version of the Fool, where it's that sort of free, creative, passionate energy, setting off on an adventure and just having an open mind and an open heart to like allowing whatever's going to happen on that path, right? Sort of that happy, optimistic anticipation of good things coming. I'm really drawn to the crown on her. It's reminding me of like a Saint Lucia crown, which is a symbol of like Christmas time, right? Kind of wearing like the Advent wreath crown on your head. So I don't know if that might resonate for anyone or if that maybe would be like a timing element that something is going to be happening for you around Christmas time. I just noticed like I feel like I'm even speaking a little bit in a quiet voice. This reading kind of has like a feeling of like a reverent hush to me. But speaking of growing up Roman Catholic and like the candles, it's making me think of like Christmas Eve. And I'm so not Catholic like anymore at all, or I don't know that I ever even was. I was very pagan even as a child, but anyway, so I would go to mass, and I think it was my favorite mass because it had so many pagan elements to me. But you go to midnight mass on Christmas, right? And everyone would be holding a candle, and the priest would go down the aisle and light just the candles on like the inside of the aisle. And then everyone would kind of light their neighbor's candles, and the light would sort of radiate out kind of down the pews or whatever, and the hush of the church and just sort of like the quiet rustling of the people sharing their candlelight, and then kind of the hum of the light as the candlelight grows brighter and brighter as it's spreading throughout the church. Like, I don't know how else to describe that, but that's the energy that's unfolding through these cards. And it feels so like, I don't know, this is like higher level. It feels very reverent and holy to me. And I feel like my voice is even like quiet because of it. So I hope you guys can hear me. I just was realizing how quiet I was being, but it's just, I don't know. I feel like my body's like mirroring this energy. The magician is really sweet. He has like a little moon or sun face on him. I like that. Yeah, he just feels like, it's kind of funny that I mentioned a priest. He kind of feels like that, like a wise old man energy. I'm almost channeling like Hierophant from him. That's interesting. That's really interesting. But he's feeling to me, so the Magician card in the tarot is all about kind of one of the messages of the Magician is I am. So it's sort of the soul recognizing itself as a powerful being, having like an I identity, and being able to like navigate that identity to kind of see what is it that you want? What is it that you want to create in this lifetime, right? And the Magician really having the self-possession to recognize that he has the power to do that. Like, he is the commander of his reality. He's the creator of his reality. I really feel that, with the Fool and the Messenger of Fire here being you kind of open-heartedly like moving into a new phase, a new cycle, a new adventure, off on a new path, right? And then the Queen and Ace of Earth is having that creative energy, that open, free energy, really being grounded into the physical earth, right? So kind of setting off in this free, open, spiritual way on the earth. And the Magician being the melding of those two energies. It's like the perfect card to get there, where he has that open heart, that open mind, that open sense of like, I'm getting that message again of like the world. I don't even know if this is the correct expression. The world is your oyster or whatever. Like anything that you want in the world is yours and you have the power to create it. And really creating that in like a grounded way. That's a really cool energy. It feels so like reverent to me. That's beautiful. Sometimes I channel these messages and in my heart, I just feel so much gratitude to God for even letting me experience that energy. And I feel like this is since I started my channel, which was at this point, like back in March. I mean, this was, I don't know, how do you math? It was like 7 or 8 months ago, right? I feel like this is one of the most profound energies that I've pulled. It's definitely the first one that's made me this quiet. So this is the energy of the situation or the circumstances. And then next we're going to pull on the energy of the advice. And I'm feeling like in this case, this energy is so beautiful. I'm suspecting that the advice column will be the universe kind of giving you guidance around how to best work with this energy. It's really funny. I'm so in this vibe that it's not even resonating for me as like a love reading. So I don't know. I'm wondering if maybe the universe is like, we're not doing a love reading. We're doing this reading. But I often feel that when I pull these love readings and it's really about you, is that this is like an energy that you're moving into or mastering. This energy is so beautiful. I feel like whether you're already in a partnership or you're kind of looking for your person, they will be like in awe of how magnificent you are and how powerful you are just in terms of your bravery and your spiritual work. This is really lovely. It's really lovely. It's feeling very much to me like inner work that you as my listener are going to be doing. But I do feel like that it's one of those where it's going to make you so magnetic that like your person's not going to be able to stay away. The Nine of Fire. I like this one in this deck. It's different. So in the traditional tarot, this would be the Nine of Wands, which is like that wounded warrior energy. In the traditional tarot, it's more about your fire, your passion, your energy kind of tapering off by the time you move from the Ace to the 10, right? But in this one, I love that she's sort of has like a new light. It's a very different feeling. It feels like lighting a light in the darkness, even though you're like exhausted. Sorry, the light's a little funky. I'm not sure. Speaking of light, we got this the other day too in my light reading, I think. It's funny that the light came up again, but yeah, it feels to me like maybe you're tired, maybe you've been through a lot, right? But your light is still shining so brightly. You're still so creative and you have like those inner resources that you're using to kind of spark your own beauty kind of out into the world. It's like, that's a really beautiful card. It's kind of like despite feeling drained or tired or challenged, choosing to shine your light anyways. It's really lovely. That's funny. I got this one the other day too. 9 of Air. I adore this deck. I think that it takes some of the some of the more brutal meanings of some of the cards. This is the card in the traditional tarot where it's like a woman with all these swords over her head and she's like crying in bed. What I love about this interpretation is that it's, the birds kind of are representing the swords, but she has her own set of wings and she's really, to me, she feels very light and free. She's kind of being set free from worries. So I feel like the two of these together, it's again, like maybe you've been through a lot. Maybe you're feeling drained. Maybe you're very anxious about something, but really choosing to transcend that, both in terms of kind of lighting your own inner light and also allowing yourself to have like this lightness of spirit. What's coming to me is like recognizing that the circumstances are not permanent and at their core, like nothing can really hurt you. In my spiritual work, we talk about that basically that only God is real, only love is real, and that everything else is an illusion that we're working through. Speaking of working through an illusion, we have transformation, which is the death card in this deck. That's really beautiful. She's got this little phoenix. I love, this is like a magical reading. Wow. I did a ton of inner work before this reading and my energy is, I don't know. I feel like my energy is sort of pouring into this reading and I feel like I'd like to do spiritual work every time now before I pull a reading. This is like really magical. All right. So with the death card, I love the concept of death as transformation. I think that's such an insightful and amazing way to look at this, because this is what you're going through. Is like, I'm feeling that you've maybe had some struggles or some heaviness, and you're using that as an opportunity to be like that phoenix reborn, right? So the struggles that you've been through, the difficult times that you've been through are more of a catalyst for transformation. You don't allow that to sort of drag you down. You use those circumstances to build yourself up. And I feel that very strongly with anyone who's in this collective. Yeah, this is awesome. Like, you're such a queen. I feel like whether you are male or female in real life, right? The gender is just the gender on the cards, but it doesn't really mean anything in terms of the message for you. So the Empress, she is the divine feminine of the tarot. She is a very earthy energy. So she would be like the Queen of Earth is like the minor arcana version of the Empress for me, because she's an earth energy. So just really, I feel, especially the transformation card next to her, allowing the universe to bring you like all of the good things that you're calling in. I feel like the energy that I'm getting from these two cards is that, again, that you have had difficult times in the past. Maybe you feel like you've had to work really hard or like fight for having your good. But this transformation in Empress feels like you've gotten to a point, or you're healing to a point, right? Where the universe is just flowing into you and you're at a point where you can just receive. It's like a place in your healing, right? It's allowing your vibration to sort of heal to this certain level where the universe has no choice but to bring everything wonderful to you in order to match your vibration. The King of Air. That's a cool card. It's interesting. All I'm drawn to is the mask. And like his crown kind of looks like spiders on his head. That's very interesting. I need to feel that for a minute. The spiders are an easy association for me. Spiders for me are divine feminine energy. They're very special. I love spiders, and they're creative, right? They're weavers. They're like very talented weavers. And I feel like that creation energy kind of goes along with the Fool and the Messenger of Fire here. And the feminine aspect of it going along with the Empress for me, and that sort of like receiving. But the mask. I feel like this is you taking off okay, I just got it. So I feel like one of the things that we talk about quite a bit in my spiritual work is being able to see yourself clearly the way that you were created by God, right? And I've shared this before. For me, it's God that resonates. For you, it could be, the energy of the universe, like whoever or whatever you believe in. For me, I believe that we were consciously created, right? But the earth being kind of a school for healing and being able to work through and heal the false masks that we have, the kind of false beliefs that we hold about ourselves in order to have that transformation, right? That ascension process, and really begin to see ourselves very clearly for who we truly are, which is divine beings. We're souls, right? Having a human experience. So the King of Airs in the traditional tarot would be the King of Swords, and he is all about clarity. So that mask is just really sticking out to me because it's such an, it's like not a King of Swords energy. He would never wear a mask. He loves clarity. He loves being straightforward and upfront and just sort of letting it all out. So I feel like that's really what this is about, is the King of Air. Like, all I want to do is rip the mask off of his face. I feel like it's you, the universe, supporting you with kind of taking that mask, any false illusions that you're still holding about yourself as being anything less than the perfect, infinite, divine soul that you truly are, and just ripping those illusions away, right? Just removing them and being able to see yourself clearly for exactly how perfect you are. We have the 2 of Earth and the 3 of Air. Yeah, it's interesting. So the 2 of Earth is feeling to me like sort of being that round and round energy, which is feeling to me like getting stuck in an illusion. I feel like this is sort of the biggest advice on here. And she has her back. Okay, this is very interesting. So in this card, there's this pair of birds, right? I don't know if you guys can see it very well. I'll try to mess with the focus. There we go. So there's this little pair of birds. They have these little tiny crowns over their heads. This is her little bird that she is paired with, right? And she's got like this little feathers here. So she has morphed from a bird into this woman, and she's like very sadly looking away from like her little bird partner, right? So the 3 of Swords card in the traditional tarot is that heart that kind of has the 3 swords pierced into it. And it's all about like agony and like heartbreak and just devastation, right? Like kind of having your heart ripped apart, your dreams being ripped out, away from you and things like that. It feels to me like that if you're in this collective, that sort of heartbreak energy and that kind of spinning around, it's almost like you're spinning around in like this infinite hell of internal heartbreak, if that makes sense. And again, I'm not even feeling this is like a romantic partnership energy, although this in particular does feel like it could be either like a current relationship that you're in, or maybe some energy from a past relationship that you're being called to heal. But the words that are coming to me is like you're spinning around in this infinite internal emotional hell, basically. And I feel like that is what this energy is trying to help you like transcend and transform. This feels to me like someone, I mean, even the posture of this figure, right? She's turning away from love, and she's sort of lost in this like despair or despondence. Her gaze is like on the ground. I feel like she's lost all hope, and she feels really trapped in like this infinite circle. I'm almost thinking of like, I feel like it's relating to this 9 of Air energy. where it's just being lost in those thoughts, those kind of ego thoughts. Yeah, that's really interesting. And I'm getting a big feeling of powerlessness from this card. This is like an interesting message to get from this, but the colors are so, there's like barely any contrast in the colors, whereas a lot of these really pop for me. Particularly this Nine of Fire feels very empowered to me. And the Nine of Air feels very clear to me. But this Two of Earth, she feels like she is a little lost and like drifting and feels very powerless. So I feel like if this energy is resonating for you at all, that it's kind of linking right back up to these in terms of advice and kind of how to handle, or like this card says, to transform that energy, to transcend out of that energy of feeling kind of stuck over and over again in like this infinite emotional hell, is to call your power back, to recognize, I don't think it's so much calling it back. I think it's recognizing that your power belongs to you and it can never be taken from you, right? And if you have ever made the choice to give your power away in a situation, all you have to do ever is say, I call all of my power back now. And that's it. It's done. And you can just imagine it rushing back into you, right? And, being open to receiving it back. But having that empowerment to choose to shine your light and to choose to be free, right? And to transcend this situation, even though it's been difficult for you, even though you've expended maybe a lot of energy, maybe you're tired, right? Maybe there's a lot of anxiety kind of tied up in this situation. Really letting yourself be that phoenix rising, right? And being willing to let the universe just flow all of your good to you. I love that about the Empress. I always feel like I imagine the universe just like flowing all of these like beautiful like fruits and vegetables and like, piles of money, like beautiful clothing, books, like whatever it is that she loves is just like all flowing to her, what do you call it? Her throne. That's really, really cool energy. Wow. This is an awesome reading, you guys. I feel like so just like humbled and in reverence of this energy. Yeah, I don't know that I have anything else to say here. I'm going to pull a couple of animal cards here, I think, and then I will move on. This is really beautiful. I almost feel like if this resonates for you at all, it might be helpful to listen to this twice. I don't know why I'm feeling that. I just am. So I'm sharing the message because I'm practicing listening to my intuition. So maybe that will resonate. That's cool. If it doesn't, that is also cool. My God, what you got for us here in this collective? Cute penguin, whimsy, community, loyalty. Pay attention to the people around you and discover the advantages of family and friends. That's really interesting. This feels to me like such a solitary healing energy. It feels like this is an energy that you are healing in order to sort of clean up your vibration and make room for that love. And it's interesting that it's a penguin because penguins mate for life. So to me, that's like a really twin flame animal. Discover the advantages of family and friends. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this will resonate for you guys, but maybe you have like a family member or a friend who you could kind of speak to. You know what I'm getting, actually? I feel like you have somebody in your life who is embodying this energy in like a really successful way, who you can kind of look to, I don't know, almost as like a role model. Yeah. As like a role, I feel like you have somebody in your life who's modeling this energy for you. And that it would be like a family member or a friendship that you have. And even maybe being able to ask that person, like, wow, you're really in this energy where you're like so empowered and free and like really, really claiming your good and claiming your power. Like, how are you doing that? I feel like that's kind of how this would connect to other people, is seeing this. And I feel like this would be someone who you have a lot of admiration for. And maybe even you would feel like, wow, that person can do that, but I'm not good enough. Or I'm not, special enough or worthy enough or spiritual enough or whatever. There's kind of like a not enough energy. But I feel like maybe that person would say to you, like, anybody can do this, right? That's what we talk about a lot in my spiritual work, is like literally anybody can do the work, right? Every single being on this planet, every person is worthy of having this energy. Like, it's so beautiful. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. And there are actually a few that fell out, so I'm just going to read them all. Energetic monkey. Innovation, confidence, amusement. Cherish those who bring laughter and joy to your soul. I like that. I feel like that is the natural result of sort of lightening up this infinite loop of emotional hell energy, is that the lightness that you're going to let in. And especially with the Fool and the Messenger of Fire, that feeling of lightness and joy. And I feel like they would be laughing. They'd be like kind of, I mean, they're both like young girls in this deck. So I see them like traipsing down a path, kind of like giggling, right? Like, that's just the energy that's here. It's really sweet. Strength tiger. Courage, willpower, strength. Use your passion and strength to overcome anything. Yeah, I feel like that's you. That for me feels like a message of persistence and not giving up, that you deserve to transcend this infinite emotional hell energy that feels very stuck to me. Kind of ripping off that mask of the King of Air and really seeing your strength, right? Having that moment of transformation where you realize you're like this divine phoenix, right? Who's just constantly in this state of shedding the old and growing into the new, and shedding the old and growing into the new, over and over and over and over again, just being constantly reborn as you're healing. Having the strength to be persistent, right? Even as you're kind of overcoming some things that feel difficult. Guardian bear. Power, inner strength, and healing. Go travel, discover the beauty of nature. You need connect you to the power of the earth. I think there's probably some typos in there, but I think we get the drift of that. That's funny that I just said the drift. I meant the gist. That's really interesting. Okay, I've been channeling like the river a lot, actually, sort of the river of God, the river of life, the river of energy that sort of flows through all of us, right, as we pass through time. That's really funny that I said drift. I feel like I'm feeling a big energy of surrender here too. But connecting to nature, the guardian bear, again, is making me think of the Fool and the Messenger of Fire. Like I said, I kind of imagine them giggling as they're walking down a path. And I feel like it's reminding me of like hiking or exploring, like on the physical earth. There's something really special about that, right? Really grounding, and it's kind of like a walking meditation. So if that resonates for you, that could potentially be really healing. And, it could be a good way to channel some insights to kind of help you get into this energy. That's a really cool reading. All right, my friends. Well, I hope that this was helpful. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment if you wish, as all of those things help me as I'm growing my channel. I'm wishing you the best healing, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.